My name is Anuja Caleb. I am a Asia professional. My largely I've been working on global mobility assignments, and then eventually my role evolved into benefits and wellness. And from past few years, I've been also practicing as a mental health first aider. I'm also a certified, retro certified on road medical first aider. Being into this little journey of wellness and talking about mental health, it's honestly such an amazing and a altogether a very different experience on the other side, because what you have probably at some instance in life observed and struggled, it is a step towards how can I create ease for the other person who probably must be going through something similar. And with the same intent, when the first time I was accredited as a mental health first aider, the feeling of knowing little and creating a big help for someone, as a first step, it's been very different and amazing. In this short span, with my current organization, I've also worked on a few mental health cases. And honestly, I tell you, more than the struggle for me as a mental health first aider to
Mm,
actually create that reach and reach out to people and talk,
mm,
what has been a learning experience is to actually see
mhm,
that people are so, even the who are like we all our parents used to address as birdies of the house,
mm,
oh, you
mm,
talk too much. But there comes a point, wherein you're talking,
mm,
but the
mm,
inside of you is so empty that you don't
mm,
even know what's happening around you.
mm,
And creating a help around for those kind of needy ones who don't even know what's happening with them,
mm, mm,
it's it just makes you so heavy at heart and gives you that strength that no, I know that nobody else can help, but
mm,
yet with the little knowledge I want to step up and
mm,
create the right set of help. And in this journey, honestly, Spurti, they've been different cases. There've
mm,
been also cases, who have used mental health differently,
mm,
right?
mm,
So another learning that comes is, how do you differentiate?
mm,
In obviously, as a mental health first aid, I have got no right that I
mm,
comment on somebody's mental health, right?
mm,
Or give the diagnosis. But even to create the help, right? And in the journey of while we are in the conversation to understand that are you really feeling the need of having a mental health support, or
mm,
is it something that you're just trying to create some periphery using
mm,
a terminology, and then maybe whatever.
mm,
um, I'll share a very learned example which I am dealing with currently. So I was with this girl, and
mhm,
she was constantly telling that I have ADHD and this is what I feel, this is what I want. And I said, yeah, perfect. We are an organization. I'm happy to hear, discuss, right? But why are we taking medical terms? This is not something for us to be addressed as. Today,
mm,
let's discuss what are you feeling? Because
mm,
I cannot create support if I know you, because I can't diagnose,
mm,
right?
mm.
But if I know what you're feeling, that's when we can involve the right set of people. And the shift in the understanding and the expression of that girl that we experienced in the conversation was very different from how we had started.
Mhm. So, what
So,
was this shift? If only if it is okay for you to share, can you elaborate a bit more?
absolutely. So, when she was, at the upper edge of the voice, telling I have ADHD, and this is the reason why I'm feeling this, because obviously, how as an organization considers differently, but we have they have mental health first aiders like us who can just step in to mitigate the current situation at least. And when I spoke with her onto this, and she was like, you are the first person who I'm speaking, who's creating this comfortable atmosphere to not ask me for a label that I have, and instead what I'm actually feeling.
Lovely. Mm,
Yeah, so it, obviously, with the little knowledge, we also learn with them.
mm,
We also learn with them that, uh, many a times people want to know what do you have, what ailment do you have, because
mm,
in be it schools, be it
mm,
corporate life, be
mm,
it anywhere. I'm sure you also work for an organization. So if beyond 2 days, we go back and ask,
mm,
what happened to you? And the
mm,
situations sometimes are so unexplainable that people bound to become, so we use a prescription, but
mm,
the prescription only says little about, the symptoms or whatsoever. But
mm,
what I am going through is something, I can't think. The noises around me are bothering me. I just want to run away,
mm,
right? So
mm,
that talking brings an expression, and that talking brings in a conversation on the table, which
mm,
at least allows them to see, okay, is going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist a solution, or can I only visit a general physician to actually get checked if my B12 levels are okay?
mm, mm,
So,
mm.
and honestly, we are all, labeled terms called rat race. It's not a rat race. The times have changed. The
Mm,
times, the structure of how people work has changed. We've moved out from joint families. We are living as nuclear families. We still have kids. We are husband and wife living together. We may have a couple of more family members, but it's still
mm, mm,
that gap that we
mm,
experience. People are rushing to office, 1.5 hour on road, 1.5 hour back again home on road, eight
mm,
hours in office. You
mm.
actually go home to sleep. So your mind is actually still trying to figure out the switch between roles: mother,
Correct.
father,
Mm,
uh, husband, wife,
right.
employee, manager. So, the struggle is real. So it's not just that we can ignore
Mm,
that, mental health is not need of the hour.
mm,
It's actually need of the hour because, people are struggling to actually, fill the gap of the crisis that they're experiencing.
correct. Mm,
So
mm,
I think with the having being a mental health first aider, I would say it's we take it as a blessing because we get to learn another part of the life,
mm,
and at the same time, we sometimes feel limited
mm,
also
mm,
because people want so much and we can only cater little to it.
mm,
But
mm,
I think the best thing that we've been trying as in the organization and in personal lives also,
mm,
is to bring something, you know, which I don't know how many people can bring in, at least to stay touch based, stay in conversation so that the other person feels comfortable and on talking terms. They don't
correct.
experience the silence, which of a sudden they start to feel at a point in time in life. They comes
Correct.
to communication to actually express themselves because
Mm,
if the more we hide it inside,
mm, mm,
the more damage it
right.
causes.
Right. So, in your absence, in the absence of a mental health first aider, I mean, we can imagine what they would have lost actually. So, it's
Mm.
not something small that you're doing. I mean, the magnitude of support that you're bringing, I think the receiver would be better able to voice that out.
Exactly, because they see, and what I usually do is, whenever get into any conversation, the first thing that I call it out is, please trust that at
Mm,
least whatever you're talking, a portion definitely will have to be discussed because we want to get the help to you, but
correct.
a portion will
Mm,
be kept
mm,
in a trusted heart to heart exchange, because
mm, mm,
unless people have that trust,
mm, mm.
they will always say no, 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 what if I land up saying something, which she goes and says something to my
Yeah.
manager or somebody else. And in
Yeah.
fact, in your personal life also, so we carry this basic knowledge, not just for the organizations, but to our families as well, right?
Mm, mm,
So it's a saying that doctors are can't treat their own families well because of
mm,
several reasons.
mm.
But then at least the knowledge
Correct.
is
Correct.
able to create the health that the family may be. And the family is not that my husband, my children, my parents, my organization. I spend 9 hours in office
Mm,
with these
mm,
set of people. And
mm,
if I can do little for them, to
Mm,
bring in that trust and comfort, I
mm,
think that's least as human beings we can do.
absolutely. Yeah.
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 We've been working on different models to create support system in our organization, be it having an on-site psychologist or a life coach, having the employee assistance programs.
Mm,
Even there have been some crucial cases where we created external helps as well, reaching out to psychologists and psychiatrists, there was a
mm,
need for the admission. So,
mm,
we our thought process takes
mm,
a turn when we
mm,
are whenever we are dealing with such human beings,
mm.
who are anyway so feeling so troubled inside,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
and it's not an ailment. It's not an ailment which can be treated simply by giving medications.
Right.
It's
Mm,
not an ailment. It's not a headache that you give a
mm,
painkiller and it's going to subside.
mm,
It is something that's staying with them,
mm,
and it's
mm.
not that easy to go it away. 5 visits to a psychologist or a psychiatrist may not take that away.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
good friend by their side can really help deal with that situation
Mm, mm, mm.
in
True.
future.
True. That's very heartening to hear, Anuja. You have straight away started talking about your experiences as a first aider, and it's really, really, fulfilling to hear that you have started implementing all your learnings, right?
Yeah.
So, just if I have to go back, what motivated you to take the training or to get into the course? Can you just give us that background?
So I'll be very honest. So I'm a HR professional, but I'm not an employee benefits and a wellness professional
Mm,
by as a long term, how I started my career. I
mm,
eventually evolved as a wellness and a benefits
mm,
person, and that has a history. So in my early career days, obviously, I was out of my parents' cocoon, and there came a point in time wherein I struggled with a
mm,
metabolic disorder.
mm,
And when I had that metabolic disorder, so different doctors saying different things. I couldn't even cry. I could see my dad standing next to me, the doctor giving the diagnosis differently, each doctor.
mm, mm,
And there was no friend to talk to. There
mm,
was nothing. I was only living in my silos.
mm,
Maybe a blessing that my endurance level was high,
mm,
that I sailed through, I passed through. I mean, that's not what I'm commenting for myself.
mm,
But then, I mean, that's what I'm commenting for myself, but not on my endurance level for sure. But then I realized there must be so many people who are like me, who are
mm.
going through. They have nobody to talk to.
Correct.
What is that right set of help that I can create? So
Mm,
not just doing being a mental health first aider, I also pursued my graduation. I am pursuing my post graduation in MA psychology.
mm, mm.
I really want to move ahead, but being a mother of two, I also find my own limitations. Being a working professional, there is own limitations. So it's a so slow pace working,
Yeah.
but that has been the little journey, which has
Mm,
been for I guess 15 years now when I had that incident. But then there was always a thought, what more can I do? And when I resumed work,
mm,
probably I never knew about mental health first aid.
mm,
I didn't knew it.
mm,
It's just that there was somebody also who trusted in me and
mm.
gave me an opportunity, and I kept moving forward. I kept moving forward, and that's where I am.
Oh, excellent. Okay, that's nice, inspiring to hear, I would say. What was the takeaway from the training? What most touched you from the course or the training?
Beauty of the factor was, as normal human beings, if we have not attended that training, right? The first thing is that you're thinking too much. I think you have anxiety. That's what everybody says.
Mm,
You have
mm,
anxiety.
mm,
If there are sleeping pills by somebody's bedside, you will say, I know you were about to commit suicide. Can we have a talk? So the tone of voice would be very different. The outcome of the conversation would be very different. Only when you have the training is we understand that, no, 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 no. Our role is to create the right set of help. It is not to actually give diagnosis. I mean, Smriti, I'm sure you've lived. I mean, come out if stepping out of your psychologist's shoes,
mm.
right? If you would see the outside world, they're usually labeling. I would
Yeah.
not say diagnosis. They're usually labeling.
Mm,
And with
mm,
the mental health first aid, no, I mean, like with the mental health that we talk about.
mm.
Labeling is the last thing.
Right.
Diagnosis also comes much later. It's the conversation that is the first step, to bring somebody to at least to that talking terms
Mm,
that, how are you?
mm,
Are you
mm,
okay? Do
mm.
you need some help? Right? Getting a person to speak is, I think,
Absolutely.
I think without having undergone that training, I don't think so anybody would know.
Mm,
Talking about suicides in the right manner, I don't think
mm.
so we can do. I mean, obviously, we learn with the experiences daily, but yeah,
You in Okay, sorry, Anuja, I lost you in between. If you
oh,
could
I'm
just
sorry.
repeat, no
Yeah,
problem. Yeah.
I was saying that, until we've done the training, we will not know that we do not have to come to conclusive statements. We do not have to,
Mm, mm, mm,
be judgmental.
mm,
How to talk
mm.
about suicides in the correct manner. If we have not done the training, then the conversation outcome will be absolutely very, very different. Very,
Mm,
very
mm,
different. So I think
mm,
the art of creating the right support system
mm, mm,
and creating the reach in the right manner is something,
mm.
what the training teaches us.
Excellent. Okay. You
And
did
I
make
think
a mention. Yeah, sorry.
I really remember Kaveri sharing certain details from her personal experiences. And I truly admire that how people learn each day. My story may be inspiring for one, but her story and many other stories may be even more inspiring.
Mm, true, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did make a mention of how you started supporting people at your workplace, and you explained, and then you made a mention of how you have applied it for yourself as well as your family. If you are comfortable, can you explain how you have applied it for yourself and with your family? Only if you're comfortable sharing.
No, no, absolutely okay. So valid experiences, they are to be shared so that somebody can learn and not to repeat those things because it's a changing, transforming times. People experience different things different ways. It
Correct.
was back in 2023,
Mm-hmm.
September, no, August.
Mm-hmm.
Started experiencing that I was shouting a lot. I was
Mm-hmm.
really shouting on my kids. My kids are very young. Back then, they were even younger.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, no, something is not right. So, like any other usual female, I Googled. Said, no, I'm between these, getting fluctuated. I went to a doc.
Mm-hmm.
I consulted. She says, yeah, yeah, everything is perfect. Nothing is happening. I said, no, ma'am, you please get your my B levels checked.
Mm-hmm.
She says, no, not needed. It's a very 30,000, full range. Why you want to spend money? I said, ma'am, no worries. You just get it done for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get reimbursement, so I'm not worried about money. You get it checked for me. She
Mm,
get it checked, and then that's when we identified, yeah, we had vitamin B deficiency in me. And she says, yeah, have you been doing this? Have you been doing this? I said, yes, ma'am, I've been
mm,
doing this. Then she recommended a course of action. Now, when
mm,
this course of action is going on for the medications, etc., one of a sudden day, I sense that I'm shouting again.
mm, mm,
But my shouting is something very, very different.
mm, mm,
I'm trying to shout, but
mm,
I'm thinking, no, why is my voice not going up?
mm, mm, mm,
So that's a struggle, right? Because your
mm,
brain is working, the brain is trying to realize because you want to create a lasting shouting impression and it's not happening.
mm,
So the chemical changes in the body, I could not diagnose. I was also getting transformed in
mm,
terms of, with new job, young
mm,
kids, their studies, my
mm,
role, everything. So, 5 minutes I used to just sit down and journal things out.
mm,
Journal things out in three categories.
mm,
What happened today?
mm,
Three statements.
mm,
What good I did? Three
mm,
statements.
mm,
What I wanted to prove? The next thing. Three statements. Honestly, I tell you, it it brought in. I understood a pattern in me, what I was doing wrong. I mean, we get feedbacks from our managers, definitely.
mm,
But then
mm,
that's when you record you and see a pattern.
mm,
Now, what I started to do when my started daughter started to write, she had a habit of writing new notebooks and everywhere. I
mm,
bought her a journal. I said, both of us are going to write because she was not interested in reading.
mm,
But
mm,
to inculcate the right practice from the beginning, and I can't do. My son is very different. My daughter is very different. I could only implement it with my daughter. I say, you write one page, mama writes one page. So we have a mother-daughter journal. So we do exactly the same practices. And I've seen that, she started to change certain things. She had a very bad habit of saying tum to everyone. Now she says up, right? The offering that respect. Because when you monitor your patterns, right, you feel the change in your own good self. My manager said something to me about a month and a half ago. He said that, you've got everything perfect, 90% this, that. But, there's always a scope of improvement. So I said, so what is it? He says emotional question is to be improved, and your team collaboration skills. I said, so perfect. Okay, I have worked for these many years. I've had team as well. What is it lacking? He says, no, nothing is lacking. But for you to go to the next level, that's an area. And now he's given it to me as a task. What do I do? Identify. Now I'm capable that I can think and I can do this. There are there's so many people who can't even think. And that's where, you take your own learnings, you implement it to the next level. One thing works for the one, the other thing doesn't work for the other.
Thank you so much for sharing this. I mean, it's moving to see how it has had such an impact on you, and introspection and acting on it is not that easy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you have involved in that journey, not on your own, but also included your daughter along, and you are seeing a transformation in both of you, and that's really lovely to hear, Anuja.
So thank you so much. But like I said, it's a journey for all of us.
Mm,
It's it started for me way back, when I was
mm,
sick,
mm.
and I didn't knew I would ever land up where I am today,
Yeah.
right?
Mm,
But obviously, with no prediction, no judgments, no diagnosis, you take
mm,
one step at a time and you keep moving on. I think that really something that makes a big difference.
yeah.
And that's what we just want to share with everyone, in our roles and the help that we are trying to create.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this training or this course to others around you? If yes, why?
I would want to recommend this to
Mm,
more people because, two hands are not enough. There
mm,
are always more hands needed, and with the rising need for the mental health
mm,
and getting the right set of cure for the
mm,
people who are in need.
mm,
There'll be many hands needed. We have a number of cardiologists available in the country. We have a number of neurologists available in the country. But do we have same number of mental health first aiders or psychologists or psychiatrists available in the country? No, they are not. Right? It's a
mm,
journey, and that's the reason at least being a mental health first aider. I would really want because that's the first step you
mm,
can take because I at this age and then where I am in the turn of my life, if I think can I register myself as an RC, I know I cannot.
mm.
What little can I do?
Correct. Yeah.
I can be a mental health first aider. I cannot be a cardiologist or an accident specialist, but I can be a Red Cross certified health
Mm,
first aider, a medical first aider.
mm,
So
mm,
whatever help that we can create, uh,
mm, mm,
I would really want to encourage people. But
mm,
people should choose
mm,
what
mm,
their instinct says. Not everybody should become a mental health first aider. They
mm,
should see,
mm,
do what impact do I want to get,
mm,
or do I want to make, when I apply for this.
mm,
This they have People should make a conscious choice.
mm,
Just because my company is funding me or I want to take an initiative for myself, I'm
mm,
sure the self initiative would be a more lasting impact one than somebody asking me to do it. Right? It's a choice people should make. What sort of a help they want to create for society or for their own family? Because whenever we do something, we do for ourselves
mm,
and
mm.
then we bring an impact. So
Correct.
yes, I really want to encourage people.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
need more hands. We really need more hands.
Yeah, you have beautifully conveyed the message as to how, to some extent, there is health related knowledge, and people might be able to do something about it minimally. But when it comes to mental health, that is still lacking. People are not educating themselves. That is one challenge. The other challenge is the disproportionate ratio between mental health professionals and the ones
Yeah,
leading, the
absolutely.
profession.
Yeah.
And to bridge this gap, is the mental health first aider. That's why there is a need for everyone to get themselves trained through
Yeah,
this standard course, and yes, be available to support themselves as well as
exactly.
for others.
Because
Yeah,
if I'm not in the right mindset, I cannot create the right set of help. There are
correct.
so much, I mean, being a female, living in a society, there's so much you go through. But how do you sail through
Right.
as your is your strength? I can choose, do I mourn about it? I can choose, do I smile about it? And I lead with head held high. I can't change situations. Nobody can change situations. It's only, how we strive through that situation
Yeah, yeah.
is really something what will be always be remembered. Because, I is only I. I take care of myself. I love myself. I do whatever for myself, you
Mm,
know.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah,
And if I'm helping somebody, it's a choice that I've made for myself that I want to help.
right, right.
Yeah.
Any closing remarks, Anuja? Anything you feel I have not asked you but you wish to share?
No, I think I've only spoken so much. Haven't
That's
given
fine.
you a chance to.
But that's the
But
purpose
yeah,
of it. We want to hear from you.
I think what I would really want to say is that I when I say we need more hands,
Mm,
because times are changing. There has to be a psychologist or a MHFA sitting in each household,
mm, mm,
because my husband leaves. Um, if he's traveling far, he leaves by 7:30 a.m. He comes back by 6:37 in the evening.
mm,
I leave by 8:15. I come back by 6:30.
mm,
Daughter goes 7:30 in the morning. She comes back by 2:30. Son goes, for now they have different timings. He goes by 8:10. He comes back by 12:30. The
mm,
half of the household is not there, right? We have been failing each minute to even sit down and have dinner together.
mm,
He says, oh, it's about to 8:30, please go
mm,
sleep because you'll not be able to wake up in the morning.
mm,
In this entire chaos,
mm.
what have we been saying is that 15-20 minutes are of at ease rested conversation that we are able to have with each other, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
People should feel encouraged and people should feel confident to maintain their own personal lives,
Mm,
right?
mm,
That's
mm,
where even if you are not a mental health first aider, right,
mm, mm,
there are resources available. There's
mm,
things available to
mm,
read and to develop and to implement in our own personal lives.
mm, mm.
People should continue to take little steps for their own self at least. They
Right.
should not stop just because of one experience. There's a long life for people to have. Lead nicely, smiling, happy.
Lovely to hear that. Yeah. That's a good concluding comment, I should say. Start with yourself, start with ourselves, take care of ourselves, and yes, educate ourselves, make ourselves aware so that we support ourselves and go a step ahead and support others too. That's the comment. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for taking your time for this and sharing this with us. I'm sure once we compile and it's out there, it will motivate many to take the course, understand the whole thing, and most importantly, understand how health is important and one should take care of it. So, thank you so much, Anuja, for taking your time.
Thank you,
Uh,
Spurti. Really nice talking to you.